Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking about reciprocity.com, the sharing economy proofreading platform that I am trying to build. And today I'm going to present the results of 60 days of YouTube marketing by putting up a video every single day. I'm trying to aim for 120 consecutive days in a row. And I watched this fellow, Miles Beckler, do this, and he did a video every single day, and I think he did about 120 days in a row, and it worked for him. He actually got a significant amount of progress on what he was promoting, and it was really, really cool to watch. So I am trying to do that as well, and I believe I'm getting some progress here, which is super exciting. So I'm going to tell you this story of what I was trying to do. In October or so of last year, I put up this website. I thought it would be really cool and lots of people would use it. It's a sharing economy proofreading platform. My initial goal was to have it so that people can go on there and get free proofreading. However, when I sort of tested this, I had kind of what is a minimal viable product or just testing it. People were sort of going on and they were getting the proofreading and, kind of walking away, never reciprocating in any sort of way. So what I did, I changed the model, and that was when I was kind of doing like an M-Turk or Mechanical Turk type model. And I was just doing the proofreading in the background just to see if it was going to work. And I did, 30 different people or so just to get a statistical result on that, and people weren't reciprocating. So what I did is I reversed it, and now you just buy some credits at the beginning, or you can actually earn credits at the beginning. And that allows you, and the earning credits actually takes a long time. So I would recommend just, purchasing a few credits at the beginning to get started and then earn them as you go, as people start submitting things. And then what happens is that you can upload your document. It doesn't cost a heck of a lot. And the vast majority of those credits right now are going to the editor. And that's what my goal is, to go to the editor. And there's a small sort of fee associated whenever an editor takes the credits and converts it into money. There's a fee associated to it, so that I can maintain the system and hopefully make sure that I can start doing really cool things. My end goal is to start using, if this becomes profitable, use this to provide scholarships and things like that to graduate students, to make sure that it continues to grow and develop, and so I can give back. This is all about me giving back as much as I can and to make my impact and giving back as large as I can to other people, because a lot of people have helped me along the way in order to become a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And so to get to this point, you have to get a lot of help along the way. So I thought, well, I would like to give back and help out people as well. But here's the thing. I wanted to make sure that it was scalable. So a lot of the stuff that we do as professors and a lot of the stuff that we focus on is helping out sort of one-to-one and helping out immediate people. And I could do that, but the trouble is when I do that is that there's so many more people around the world. There's 7 billion people, at least 7 billion people now that don't get access to that. And I thought that was a little bit troubling. I knew that, and even if it's 7 billion people, and even if I'm just helping out people that are learning to become a PhD and learning to try to be a PhD, there's still a very large marketplace for that. Maybe it's 10,000 people out there that are doing this. And I thought maybe I can create something that is scalable and I can help a lot of people by doing it. And the only way that I know how to do this, so because I study software and the software industry and stuff like that, the only way that I know how to do this on a scalable basis is to create some sort of platform like this where, I'm doing videos and helping you out, but then also having a software that's helpful that you can go and get sort of peer feedback on something, or get your work edited, or get it proofread by somebody, and just have a system where it kind of does that and does it on a really, really cheap basis. So a lot of people do it, but then, have options on there, eventually have options to, have other ways, maybe get confidentiality and things like that built into it. That is my end goal, is to create this sort of system where it's benefiting a lot of people and helping out as many people as I possibly can. And that is my ultimate goal with this. And hopefully we're going to continue to build this out. And a part of this challenge to show people that this is legitimate, we can actually do this, is to build a community. And if you're at all interested in doing your own sort of startup thing or whatnot, you can see how I'm doing it and you can follow along. And I was really inspired by this fellow, Miles Beckler, to do this kind of thing, because I was doing videos but not on a regular basis, but then I saw the progress he made when he started putting them out on a regular basis. So I thought, hey, this would be really cool if I could do this too as a professor and show that other people can do this, and it's not the sort of daunting thing. The thing that's daunting is to get over that sort of self-negative talk, and to get over that fear of others, and to get over that is a really, really difficult thing. It's difficult for everybody. It was really scary for me at the beginning to put this out, and I was really nervous. But as I put this out and I continue to do this, it does get easier. It gets more fun as I'm doing it, which is amazing. And that's exactly his experience as he started doing this. It was the same as mine. And you know, if people say negative things at this point, I mean, I do get worked up, and you know, it kind of freaks me out for a little while. But then at the same time, I'm like, who cares? It does not matter at the end of the day. I'm putting these out and I'm helping out more than just that person that's putting out negative stuff. So with that, I want to get into the progress of 60 days in. You could see that it is definitely growing. So I listened to yesterday, the day before, I listened to my 30 days in, and I was only at 100 different subscribers. So this is another 30 days later, so 60 days, and now I'm at I'm at 139 subscribers, which is crazy. Which means that the growth per month is something like 39% in subscribers, which is absolutely phenomenal. That's growing very, very rapidly. I'm going to show you at the end of this, if you stick with this video, at the end, I'm going to show you some really cool things with forecasting, some stuff that I do know as being an academic, as being kind of a statistical person, and learned about this stuff along the way. So I could show you the forecasting, and it is absolutely mind-boggling when you start looking at these numbers, even though that it's a really small number from 100 to 139. It is mind-boggling if you forecast in the future. So here it is. I've put out a bunch of videos right now. Some of them are getting views, a couple of views here. I have to admit some of them are me, because I like to listen to them, because there's great advice on some of the stuff, but then some of them are really taking off. So this one right here is just a really short trailer, 23 seconds long. It's just a trailer, like a commercial. So I put that out, and that's taking off. That's getting a lot of views so I did advertise that for a bit, and I still advertise it. It's anywhere up to $5 a day at this point, which is not a lot. But a ton of these views now are just kind of organic traffic. It is just growing. You can see some other ones. These are other ones. So I've kind of did that with a couple of these. There is one, I won't get into it at the moment. I'll show you some other stuff at this moment. So very cool. I've been creating some playlists, how managers make decisions, because that's what I study. All about this 90-day challenge and different things. This one I'm really proud about, but nobody is watching it. I have no idea why, but I'm super proud about it. It's about understanding causal inference in science, and it's all about correlation versus causation. I think it's just not getting any views right now. The search engines aren't picking it up, but it is a really cool series that I put out that I think is very, very helpful. And okay, so here we go. So right now this is inside of my own manager. I'm showing this video manager, and you can see I have 159 videos right now. What I do in order to maintain this daily schedule, and maybe it's not best practice, maybe for me it's best practice, because I can't often some days I can't get to it. Like yesterday, I did put out a video, but yesterday was my son's birthday. 8th birthday, and that was a really busy day, but I still managed to put out a video. But sometimes that does happen, and I don't want to miss this daily basis. So I do have scheduled videos coming up, and that's exactly what, and if you are creating your own channel, your own TV studio, that's what they do. They schedule in advance. If you create any sort of work or anything like that, you want to schedule in advance so it's dependable, right? And that's exactly what I'm doing. You can see all these different videos, 159. That is crazy at this point. I'm doing, and the videos are getting much more better. I have like kind of my own different series. I've got one on Mondays about writing, right? And then another one. Tuesdays is kind of open where I just give advice right now. Wednesdays is all about being a giant nerd and talking about different topics in science that I think are interesting. Thursdays, I usually talk about, it's kind of what is my big thing that I might give my big thought of something I've been thinking about or something in the literature or something like that, and try to tell a story about that. And then I also put that on Facebook on Thursdays. I try to do that. Fridays, I talk about graduate. So it's call that thesis help. And that's all about being a graduate student and becoming a PhD, going into anything in the graduate studies and dealing with all the, I'm going to say crap of being a PhD, because it really is tough throughout the process. So I'm trying to give some help in how to manage all of that stuff. And then on Saturday, I do stuff about small business and being a startup and doing stuff with that kind of stuff, and helpful hints about what you would learn in a business school about startups and small businesses and stuff. And then Sundays, it's kind of a catch-all. Usually I might do sort of a more of an ad-y type video on Sundays to promote things, which is fine. That's what I'm trying to do, is just kind of promote things on that day every once in a while. It's a little bit more like, come check this out, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, that's it. And you can see into my analytics here. This is what's really cool, and I'm hoping that you guys are going to be amazed with this. I am truly amazed. So this is 90 days, the past 90 days, and this is the watch time of people watching it. So you can see here, this is where I was doing kind of a couple of videos a week here, and generally I was putting it out on Thursdays. And you can see what's really neat here is you can see that there's spikes. Generally, it's close to the Thursdays. So I think that, if I was Google, and I don't know off the top of my head, but if I was Google and I was doing these YouTube algorithms, what I would do is actually have a machine learning algorithm to learn when people put out videos, and then sort of forecast, based on their track record for the past, this is when we should send more traffic to YouTube and for their channel. And that's exactly, I think, what's happening, is that there's additional spikes either the day before or the day of when I put out the videos. And you can see that there's tremendous amount of spikes. And and some of the days I was putting it out, I wasn't promoting it at all. So what was happening is, I think that there is this kind of like a learning algorithm, a machine learning algorithm that was forecasting to send extra traffic to sort of bump things up. And then what's cool, and the reason why I suspect that is the case, it does go back further, and I can get into, the sort of spiky trend. But the reason why I think that's the case, so I changed my publishing schedule here in July, somewhere right around here. And you could see that the algorithm, machine learning algorithms have to reprogram themselves, and you need track record, you need data to sort of have that. So what ended up happening is it dropped off heavily as soon as I changed that schedule of doing it, on Thursdays. Maybe I was doing, I can't remember, like on a Monday or something, like Monday and Thursdays. But I changed that, and you could see it just dropped off and plummeted, right? So this is where the algorithm is learning it. So starting here, we started getting more peaks, right? And we started getting this trend up over time. And that is amazing. That's basically the machine learning algorithm doing its trick, right? It's giving me more every video, and I'm putting this out every single day, so I'm getting more and more traffic every single day. You can see that there is this dramatic increase in traffic. I'm going to extend this out just to highlight. So I'm going to go to 130. So I'm going to go this year. And you can see what ended up happening with traffic, and you can see the spikes and stuff. I'll show you that. So you can see this is where I was doing just promoting the videos, paying for that. That was a total waste of money. That was garbage. I wouldn't do that again, just kind of promoting randomly, because it just sends out to a bunch of people and nobody ends up ever watching it. It just is a total waste of money to do kind of the promote at this point. What I do here, and now what I've learned with the, I did mention I do kind of advertising the videos, but what I do is I go and I create an actual ad in the AdWords manager, and it is highly, highly targeted to people that are interested in certain channels and stuff like that, and that gets much, much better feedback. And that is doing much, much better in the sort of in the videos. There's also a component here of where I was paying for pay-per-click on Google, and that works really, really effectively. However, it is expensive. It's very, very expensive, and it's kind of not sustainable if you're kind of growing something like this. So as a startup, it's probably not recommended until you're actually generating revenue and it's actually doing well. So you can see here, this is where I start putting out more YouTube videos on a regular basis. I turned off some of the ads for a bit to see what was happening. It did drop, but then I turned them back on, doing $5 a day roughly, and you can see this is where I started doing YouTube videos even more heavily. And these are all these spikes right here, right? These are different spikes of, that's when the videos were putting out. As I was telling you with the machine learning algorithm, that's what I would do if I was Google. And I'm a professor of innovation. I would build in machine learning algorithms that would predict when people are going to put out videos and stuff, and then send them more traffic to start getting, to get more ad revenue. This is exactly what I would do, and I'm guaranteed that that's what they're doing. I don't know, but I guarantee it. And you can see here, this is where I changed. I was doing a video every day, and I'm still doing a video every day, and you could start seeing the traffic increasing much, much more quickly over time. So you can see this is really cool to see this. In general, there is a trend, a pretty good trend up, and I'm going to get into that right now with the YouTube trend upwards. You can see, so this is the rolling 7-day averages. What is a 7-day average? This is where you take the last 7 days and you take an average. So you add up all of those numbers for the watch time, you add them all up, divide by 7, and you do that every single 7 day. That's it's called a rolling window. It's kind of a standard way to look at some of these data. What that does, a rolling window kind of smooths the peaks and valleys, and you end up getting a sort of more statistically significant, I guess, or more a data that is not sort of fluctuating. There's not a lot of sort of noise around that. It's a smoothing algorithm, is essentially what it is. It takes out a bunch of noise out of the time series. This is called the time series, if you didn't know that. And so here, this is a rolling window. You can see that there is a pretty good growth going on. Some really, really, really good growth. And I'm going to show you a really cool, fun thing that I did in 1 minute with forecasting where this could go. I think it's super cool. So just keep holding on. I'm going to show you some more of this growth over time. So you can see now on average, I'm getting about 1 hour a day of people watching it, random people around the world watching these videos. Crazy, isn't it? Right? Like some total random person. Yeah, and I'm just saying stuff and people are watching it. It blows my mind that people are doing it, but yeah, it's cool. Thank you so much if you are, by the way. Super, super cool stuff. And I'm going to go into one more thing that's really cool. Oh, now I'm going to go. So hold that thought with the forecasting. I'm going to come back to that, but I am going to go here and show you the traffic on my website on reciprocity, and you can start seeing what's going on. So this is the overall traffic from May 2017 to August 2017. You can see what is cool, and it's slow growth, right? That there is things that are lower here. So the valleys are lower over here compared to over here. as well as the peaks are generally, these are the peaks. They're generally lower than the ones over here. And you can see what's really neat. So starting, this is about July. This is when I started doing my YouTube, my challenge of doing it every single day. You can see that the growth changed and we started getting more significant growth, particularly right here. We started getting some more growth starting in, I would go back to here, right? So July, the end of July, the growth started growing a little bit more rapidly. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. But so this is daily. Daily kind of, it looks like there's not a lot going on, right? So you can be fooled by that. But let's go to weekly, and you could see a definite growth over time, which is really cool. You can see it's still, 120 visits a day, 120 visits a week. So still not a lot of traffic, and I'm going to show you why, but you can see it's increasing over time, which is cool. So in order to get, this is including, all sorts of traffic, people coming back. Probably a couple of those are me going to it, not a lot. I try to avoid doing that. But you can also, there might be other traffic that's associated to it, but all sorts of different things. The better traffic to look at is to look at the organic traffic, because that's the search engine traffic. That's the thing that's growing over time. So I'm going to go to organic traffic, and you can see some really cool numbers here, particularly, again, as I mentioned, starting in the end of August, right? Or beginning of July, and beginning of July, end of August, beginning of August, end of July. You could start seeing that there is this growth in organic traffic, which is super cool, right? This growth in organic traffic. You can see, I'm going to actually put this out to a year ago, and you can start seeing this growth over time quite more dramatically. And I'm going to take this to weekly, and you can see that there is this amazing growth, right, over time. And a lot of that has to, this is where I actually started doing the YouTube videos, and then I started paying for traffic here. So that's why there's this big bump. Whenever you have pay-per-click, they might see an ad, for example. Somebody might see an ad, they'll go and they'll Google search it, and they'll search for that particular thing, and you're going to get more traffic just from paying for those pay-per-clicks. Organic, you're going to get more organic traffic, pay-per-clicks. I stopped that right about here, and you could see that there is a trajectory going up. Again, it's slow, but that doesn't bother me at this moment because the growth is rapid, and I'm going to show you what that means over time. So what I did, coming back to sort of forecasting where this can go and the awesomeness of that. So what you could do is up here on your traffic, or on your YouTube. You could do this on your analytics, Google Analytics too, but I'm going to just show you this. You can actually download, so you can export. If you click here, export, and you could go to comma separated, you'll end up getting some data, and I dumped this into an Excel spreadsheet to show you what this is. I deleted some of the fields. They give you a lot of data. I just deleted them to focus on watch time. And this is the date and the views that I am getting over time. So what I did is you can calculate the growth of them. So this is what you do if you're calculating a financial return for a stock market, for example, or a stock price. That's all it is. It's a daily financial return where you calculate, you do the difference between this value, the day of, and the previous value, and then you divide it, and you're going to get the percentage growth in that in that stock, or in this case, in the growth in the video views, and in the growth of the watch time. And then what you can do is take an average of this. So I deleted, I wanted to start in April because there was a big bump in traffic because of the pay-per-clicks, and I didn't want that to be confounded with it. So then you can take an average of this. So you do average of this entire column of this growth, and you can see that the average growth of my watch time is 54%, and the average daily growth of my watch time is 54%. That is amazing. So on average, it's growing 54% per day. So that means if I was to watch, let's say you started off with one video or one video and somebody's only watching it for a minute. So the next day it's going to be, on average, is going to go up by a minute and a half. So people are going to watch it, 90 seconds. And then the following day it's going to be, it's going to go up by 90 times 1.5 for the next one. So that, I don't know what the calculation is. It's about 2 minutes, right? Maybe a little bit less than 2 minutes. And it's going to keep growing like that. It's going to compound like that. And you can see my view growth is growing by 7% per day. Now that's amazing. That's astounding if you get that. So 7%, there is what's called the rule of 7 in stock markets, if you haven't heard of this. So the stock market, if you put your money into stocks, if you put it in the S&P 500, put it in an index, it grows at roughly about 10%-ish, give or take, every single year. And what happens is that 10% doubles in 7 years. So that's what the rule of 7 is. So that's going to grow and double in 7 years. You put your money in there, it's going to be twice as large in 7 years. So the 7% is a significant and large number. And I'm going to show you what that growth compounded is. And this is where you can forecast. All you have to do, there is a fancy math calculation behind it. And I'm not going to show you to sort of calculate your future value or your future videos, but what you can do is look up a savings calculator, for instance, and you just type in savings calculator in Google, and you can click on this one. It's the Bankrate savings calculator. It's free. There's some ads on it, so it's annoying. And so you can put in your initial amount. This is how many videos or views I'm getting a day and so this is the average video views I got I received in August. So it's about 80 a day. And this is, you can put in your monthly deposit. This is how much it's going to grow. So I just put 0 because I want to just see how much growth it's going to get just by looking at, if I wasn't to add any more videos or anything like that to it. And then this is where you can put in your interest rate. So that is the 7%. And then I'm going to look at, 100 days from now. I can forecast 100 days from now. Again, when you forecast, it can be highly inaccurate. Forecasting is generally highly inaccurate the farther you go out. 100 days is probably too far, but I just wanted to show you how quickly it can compound. And you can generate, so you hit calculate, and you can look at, so probably by the end of, maybe by the end of September, I am going to get, so this is 30 days. So change this in your mind to, this is daily, right? So at the end of September, perhaps I'm going to get, 600 minutes viewed or 600 views a day, which is huge, right? So this can compound very, very quickly. And this 600 minutes goes, if you go out another month, so you go to 60 days out, that's 6,000 views per day that you could be getting, or that I could be getting because of this compounding. Now, again, the reason why it's inaccurate to go out really, really far, I suspect in 10 days I'll probably be getting this, probably 160 views, which is really cool. Amazing, actually. But the reason why you don't want to forecast too far out, because this number, your interest calculation is going to be off. It's going to start sort of drifting in different ways. As well, it's just going to be starting to drift in other ways. It could be higher or lower, and that could be, your forecast could be drastically out. But in 10 days, I'm willing to, believe it might be about 160 views, which is cool per day. That is truly true, on average, 160 days. So that means sometimes it's going to be a lot more and sometimes it's going to be a lot less. And that is fine, but on average, it's going to be about 160 days or 160 views. So cool, right? Amazing stuff. So I wanted to just point out, even when you're doing these videos and you're doing something that's different, that you will go through this sort of self-doubt, and it's going to feel awful, and you're going to be scared, and you're going to be nervous, and You're going to think that people are going to make fun of you and all that kind of stuff. And that is totally normal. That's the whole process. And you're sort of sorting this out. So you do I get a huge appreciation of anybody that does this on a regular basis. So people that are on TV or whatnot, these radio personalities and stuff. It is really tough to do this, but at the same time, you do get used to it, and it becomes easier and easier, and it becomes more fun. This has been really fun, and I could start showing these ideas, and to me, I get a kick out of it. It's just like when I started teaching, or when I was teaching as a professor. When you start out, you're really nervous. You don't know what to expect. You thought everybody is going to make fun of you, and yeah, some people do make fun of you, and some students really hate what you're doing, and you do get mixed teaching ratings and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, there is some people that are benefiting from it, and they like what you're doing. You get some really cool feedback at the end of it, and saying that this is it's a wonderful experience and stuff like that. And that's what I'm hoping for with this. And for the people that don't like any of this stuff, they don't have to watch. It doesn't matter to me. And it keeps me going. It's really exciting. And just to see that this is growing, this is all because of you guys and what you are doing and watching. This is so cool. You are doing you're doing all of the hard work with this collectively, and I'm so proud and happy that you are all participating. Thank you so much. And again, if you like any of these videos, you can do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That gives me more feedback in what I can do and sort of help you out and stuff like that. And watch some of the other videos. You can see the other ones in the past that does help out with the search engines. It does grow and makes this become it sort of gives feedback to Google and all the other search engines and say, hey, look at this. This is great stuff. You should be following along and tracking. And that does help. It grows it, and it's going to make this a little bit bigger and better. So thank you again. You're amazing. I appreciate everything that you do, particularly all those who subscribe. Hey, you're so cool. That's all I wanted to say. Have a good day. Take care. And I am looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.